Hey friends, Amy Jackson here, Director of The Perch, and I wanted to talk a little bit about Hope in the Dark, which is my new Advent devotional. And Advent begins November 28th, so I definitely wanted to talk a little bit about what this devotional is, what you're going to find inside, so you know if it's right for you, and so you can order it and get it in time for November 28th, so you can start it off on the first day. So this little book is my Advent devotional, and if you are familiar with my book Unhurried, you're going to notice it's a similar format with some little additions and with some different passages. So these are not passages that are found in Unhurried. So Advent, let's back up and say what Advent is. If you're not familiar, if you're not part of a church tradition that has celebrated Advent or gone through Advent together, Advent is the 4 weeks leading up to Christmas. And Advent is traditionally a really somber kind of time of waiting and darkness and leading to, of course, we know Jesus's birth, but trying to connect with those feelings of waiting and longing and hoping that Jesus is coming and that things will be better. And it often doesn't reflect our reality of Christmas in the Western church because we often jump to Christmas. Right now, I have a neighbor with their Christmas tree up, and you know what? I get it because we need some light in these dark days. But that kind of really shows that a lot of times we are like jumping straight to Christmas. We're jumping straight to presents, jumping straight to this excitement and the celebration, and kind of skipping over this season. And what that can do for us who have experienced grief or difficulties or trying times, it can feel really difficult to get happy for the happiest season of all, right? And so I love Advent because it allows us that space to feel how we're feeling and to admit those paradoxes of life, the difficulties of life, and really sit with them and wrestle with them and hold both and. And so this Advent devotional is really for those of us who are looking for something to help us sit with those paradoxes of now and not yet, hope and waiting, and hold them together in this season as we wait for Jesus's birth and as we wait for the celebration that we know is to come. So what are you going to find when you get in your Advent devotional? So what you'll find is first of all, the first page is directions, and then you'll find each week has several pages. So each week starts with a single passage that you'll use for the entire week. So if you're familiar with Unhurried, this sounds familiar to you, but it's one passage that you'll use for the entire week. And then every day there are different activities, meditative activities, to help you kind of sink deeper into that particular passage. So you'll have your scripture, and I have it written out for you here. Then I have included for this Advent devotional the lectionary readings that are traditionally done on this day. So this happens to be the first Sunday of Advent. So I have the first Sunday of Advent lectionary readings. Those are optional readings for you. If you do go to liturgical church, that's the readings that they'll be doing that day. And so it's just a nice little connection point for you. This is also different than Unhurried. In the Advent devotional, I actually include a short devotional thought each week to kind of kick off the theme and talk a little bit about it. So you can see this first week is waiting and hope is the theme. And then I've got the reading and then a devotional thought for me. And then you'll have other ideas to meditate on this passage, and so each week has 5 additional activities. So and these are all meant to be something that you can do relatively quickly, or it doesn't take a ton of time. You can spend more time in them, but I tried to make them very doable. I am a mom of littles, and so I figured if I could manage it, a lot of us could manage it. And so I tried to have that in mind as I was creating some of these activities and ideas for you to meditate on this passage. And then also unique for our devotional here is I have ideas for including children. And each week you'll find 2 to 3 ideas for helping children of variety of ages connect with this theme. And it could be anything from a conversation starter to a really simple activity that kind of helps highlight this theme or the meaning behind the theme. Or it could be even a children's book that I feel like really just demonstrates the theme really well. And so it has suggestions and even where you might find that book. So again, each week you'll find 2 to 3, and they are created for a variety of ages. My goal was to do things that would not be cheesy, that I would want to do with my own kids, because sometimes the Christmas activities are pretty cheesy, and or they take a lot of work, and so I wanted to avoid both of those extremes. All right, so you'll have 4 weeks of that for Advent leading up to Christmas, and then I've included, I'll flip to it here, a special section just for Christmas Day. So when you get to Christmas Day or Christmas Eve, whichever one you tend to celebrate, I've got a special reading for the day. I've listed out the lectionary readings both for Christmas Eve and Christmas Day. And then I've got a short devotional thought and a reflection question for you. And then, of course, the 2 ideas for involving kids. The same is true for Epiphany. So if you are not familiar with the Christmas season in the church calendar, Epiphany is the official ending of Christmas. So think 12 days of Christmas. It starts with Christmas and it ends with Epiphany on January 6th. So I've also got same format here, a scripture passage for the day, lectionary readings for Epiphany, a short devotional, and a reflection question, as well as some ideas for including your kids in the theme for the day. So that's what you'll find inside this great devotional. I'm really proud of it. I think that it just works so well for anyone who is in a season of transition or healing or growth, or just for anyone where like the crazy amounts of joy maybe just hits you a little funny this time of year. I really think that this devotional will meet you right where you are and give you permission to feel what you feel and be where you are and know that God meets you right there. So I hope you'll get your own copy. Definitely check the comments for the link to my story where you can get your own copy. And again, Advent starts November 28th, so be sure to order by then so you can get it in time to start. Thanks, friends.